What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about SPY and testing a couple of tickers out there. We're going to break down what happened today in the markets, what earnings are coming out for tomorrow, what news just came out that's very huge, and what the data is telling us on the options chain for the market. Before I break anything down about all this information, before I talk about what's going on with the charts and what happened today, because we had a wild day. Today was absolutely insane. If you actually looked since the morning at what the charts were doing, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I am not a financial planner. Make sure you take none of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. And finally, don't forget about the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. Put in $100 into an account, and you are guaranteed 5 free stocks with a $100 cash reward. The offer ends in just a couple of weeks. Check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. All right, anyways, looking at the market today was just wild, okay? I woke up in the morning. Well, actually, let's first talk about yesterday. Yesterday, I was very, very concerned about some of the technicals we were seeing. And if you look at the technicals on SPY, it looked like we were likely going to get a test of 426. And there was an increased probability of it potentially breaking later on, right? I mentioned that, but I told you to watch for confirmation. And the truth is that ended up being a trap set by the market makers. And they did a very good job at trapping people. And let me explain. So what happened was we're stuck in this range basically, right? This range on SPY, it looks like this. And you can see we're just going back and forth and back and forth. The resistance is between 429 to 430. This entire zone has some strong resistance. And then the support is at around 426. Every time we touch 426, we're just like popping off of it. And what happened was yesterday, they tried to make it look very, very bearish. We had some bearish looking signals, and the odds started to favor us potentially breaking this area. And that is what happened. We did temporarily, very temporarily break below 426, but this was known as a false breakout. This was not a strong breakout. This was not a confirmed breakout. It was a trap that was set to get people to buy puts and to trigger stops. 2 in 1. And here's what the market makers were thinking. So who's the market maker, by the way? There are many ways you could describe them. They tend to manipulate stocks, and they are the ones that are buying the options when you sell them. And they're the ones that are selling options to you, by the way. So they take opposite positions. And despite doing this, right, but despite buying and selling these options to us, they're still players in the game, and they manipulate the stocks like crazy. But anyways, so their plan was to drop SPY below 426. And let me use a smaller time frame, so like the 5 minute, temporarily, and trick people. I'm going to go back on my chart, by the way, and just give me like a second. They were dropping it pretty hard in the very beginning and tricking people into buying puts. The net premiums on SPY went in favor of the puts. People were shorting very hard right here after the first 30 minutes, 40 minutes. People were shorting. We got this break to the downside. We broke below 426. If we broke and held below 426, right, in a strong manner, the market would have tanked, right? But we didn't do that. We came below it for a few minutes, then we came right back up. And this was their plan, okay? They wanted you to turn bearish. They wanted me to turn bearish. We had bearish signals. It was all part of their game. Why? Because the market is designed to cause people to lose, especially retail. And they were trying to trick people, make money in the process of doing it, because they would be in the winning position if we are the ones that took a loss, because they're taking a position that's opposite from us. So people are shorting up here, causing a short squeeze, would cause all these shorts to lose, basically. I know I'm kind of oversimplifying it, but that's in essence what's happening. And then when this happened, I was looking in real time and I saw a bullish divergence developing, and I realized it's a trap. They're trying to trap you guys. They're trying to trap all of us. They set this trap. Let me just bring it up. Where is it? It's right here. We had a bullish divergence developing, and we had confirmation of it after we got this bounce and a hold above 426. We couldn't break it. And I knew this was going to be a trap. So when I told you yesterday, the market had bearish signals, yes, we did drop temporarily, but it was super, super temporary. It wasn't even like it wasn't like what I was thinking. And I do apologize for that because I'm a human. I make mistakes. Sometimes technicals can try to fake people out. Sometimes it happens, right? But what I did was I released this video. This was in the morning. The pre-market video is right here. The huge data came out, the initial jobless claims, and then this video came out next. I released this video right when I saw the trap. And I told you guys, the trap is there. I think the market's going to squeeze. And this was back when SPY was at 427, almost just under 427. Tesla was in the 220s. The QQQ was just under 350. And I predicted in the video, if you don't believe me, you could watch the video. This came out in the morning, just about 45 minutes after open, just about then. A little bit before that, sorry, I recorded that a little bit earlier. But I warned you guys, and I predicted SPY would see 429 plus as soon as tomorrow. I told you Tesla would get to 230 plus. It would break 230. And I told you the QQQ is probably going to squeeze past 352. And all of that ended up happening the same day. So you guys got the warning. I made a mistake yesterday, but I redeemed myself by making the next video. That's the truth. I am sorry. Sometimes I will make mistakes. I am a human. I can't be right all the time. But I am capable of, once again, giving you guys good content that's valuable, and I want to do my best to help you anyways. Then after that, I released another video to talk about the levels because I rushed this video right here. I didn't really talk in too much detail about the levels on Tesla and the QQQ. So I wanted to make another follow-up video and talk about some levels. I released this a couple of hours ago, and now I'm releasing this video. I'm going to break down something else that's important. So now that this happened, right? Now that the market got this balance and we broke these resistance levels and we came all the way up to this resistance zone between 429 to about 430. Also, remember the resistance I talked about yesterday around 429.62? Well, today the high of the day was 429.6, almost exactly there again. This is the third time that zone ended up being where SPY made its top. So the question is the market going to keep squeezing or is the market going to collapse? And the answer is, I don't truly know, and that's why you have to watch for confirmation. I'm going to be unbiased when saying so. But looking at the options chain and looking at the news that's coming out, the odds are starting to favor the market holding these levels, if not trying to break out again, trying to break to like a new high since the August highs, breaking 430. Now, am I saying that will happen? No, I'm not promising it. I'm open-minded because there's always the possibility of downside. You have to watch for confirmation. But what I am saying is there's an increased probability that the market may try to continue to hold these levels and try to push up even more. Now, why am I saying that though? What data do I have to say that? There are two things that have come out, and actually three things I want to talk about. The first one is the options chain. I mean, if you just look at it, just like the last 2 weeks, we have an insane amount of puts. We have about over 500,000 calls expiring, a little bit over that, and we have over 1 million puts expiring. We're well above max pain, so the market makers don't have to pump the market that hard, but it's very likely they're going to try to hold these levels. 1.92 is the put to call ratio, right? So the majority of people have puts. They're betting the market's going to tank tomorrow. And the market makers see this. The market makers have opposite positions. The market makers are already hedged. And what's going to happen is they're more likely to be inclined to hold the market up or even cause it to squeeze shorts, meaning the market pushes up. And in doing so, as the market holds these levels, institutions are inclined to start closing puts. That's why on Fridays, we typically see the put to call ratios drop. When they close the puts, they hedge by buying shares. When they hedge by buying shares, it adds to the upwards pressure of the markets. The market makers also hedge in the process. That is why, if you look at SPY right now, we have low volume. Low volume, it's not very high volume, and yet this thing continues to pump because of delta hedging, because of market makers, because of short squeezing, and all these different factors. Now, there's also a lot of news coming out that's saying that the S&P 500 has entered a new bull market. As I told you guys before, I don't care if it's a bull market, a koala market, a kangaroo market. I don't care. I'm simply going to look at the charts and talk about what move is likely going to come. But when news like this comes out, investors are going to be very excited. This may even fuel the positive sentiment. And there's an increased probability now that the market may like this. Now, For earnings, don't forget we have Neo's earnings. That's the only one for tomorrow. I'm excited about this. I will talk about that in just a couple of minutes. And last but not least, we have a little bit of data. We have some data involving the agriculture supply and demand report coming out tomorrow at about 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. And besides that, there's not much else coming out. But this is the last kind of cool data day until next week. Just to remind you guys, we have consumer inflationary expectations on Monday. We have CPI on Tuesday next week. And then we have FOMC. It's going to be a wild week. And then I think we have OPEC's on Friday, I believe, of next week. So we have a crazy week next week. It's going to be very volatile and wild. Make sure you're ready for next week. It's going to be huge. But today is going to be the calm before the storm. Today and tomorrow, I mean. Now let's break down these charts. Well, on SPY, it's basically the same thing over and over again. If we're really bullish, okay, to turn bullish, you need to see it break this 429.62 level, then 430. If it breaks 430, it's going to require a lot of pushing to do that. And the news about the bull market could help with that, but it's not a guarantee. So you have to watch for confirmation. Break an old 430, and I'm going to be watching the 431s, basically 431.25 to about 431.8. We saw SPY get rejected here many times. We have some resistance there, but it's not extremely strong. But there is some resistance that may slow it down a bit. If it breaks this 431 range, it's going to test 433, but 433 is not very strong resistance either. We saw some rejections here, but it's not extremely significant. If 433 breaks over the next couple of days, hypothetically, let's just say we're pushing. If we get a strong break above these two resistance zones, it's going to fly to 435. But in my opinion, if we break this resistance around 431, we're very likely going to go all the way up to 435 and just shoot through this. But we do have some resistance, and it's worth noting we could see somewhat of a fight here beforehand. But if anything, it's going to turn very bullish. But it's all going to start with confirmation of a break above 430. So that's the bullish case. The bearish case, we're currently at we're actually under 429 in the after hours. It may be like this in the pre-market. We're about to get a bearish cross on the PPO, but that doesn't guarantee anything about tomorrow. If we cool off a bit, watch 428.5 as support. If that fails, 427.88 is where the 50 EMA is. If that fails, 427.5. So there's a lot of support holding this thing up. Then we have 426.5, then 426 as very significant support. To turn really bearish, okay, if you are a big bear in the markets, if you think the market's going to tank, what you have to watch for is 426 once again. And now we have the 30-minute 200 EMA catching up with it. So we're going to be watching 426 to 425.62 as confirmation of a bearish break. If it breaks these two levels, that's it. Specifically, I think it's 426, so that's the more significant one. Break that, and this thing is going to come all the way down to 424 and etc. That's the more bearish case. So I'm always open-minded, guys. I'm always going to be watching these levels. I'm always going to be unbiased when saying that. But what is more likely based off the news? Based off the news and based off the fact that Tesla is exploding right now, it's currently in the 240s. Now, in my video, I have another channel dedicated to Tesla. I told you Tesla's probably going to rip to the upside, and watch these levels on Tesla. I told you we could break 236 and see 240. It actually went higher than that. And the reason Tesla's pumping is because of a big piece of news involving Elon Musk. Elon Musk closed a deal with GM and Ford, and they're going to be expanding the availability of their supercharger networks. Tesla is pumping off of this, and this is likely going to add to buying pressure for the market. Tesla is a big stock anyways. It's a very, very massive cap, and that's going to affect SPY, SPX, and the QQQ. Now, it's not just that, but you have to look at others out there. Nvda, for example, is green. It's trying to hold above 385, and so far it's trying to hold up. It is slowing down momentum, so it may get a 50 EMA retest, but it's trying to hold up. If it keeps holding up, we could see a 390 test. If it breaks down, you're going to be watching support around 380, if not 377. But Nvidia is holding up. That's worth noting. Then Aapl. I'm going to try to bring up Aapl. Where is Aapl? Aapl, to me, is looking pretty decent. It's gaining lots of strength. We formed a very, very nice looking bullish divergence right here, which led to it continuing to pump. On the 1 hour time frame, Aapl was looking quite nice. I called this out earlier too. Apple formed a bullish divergence right over here too, after it broke above the 200 EMA after bouncing off of it. And now it's above 180, which is a very, very good sign. Now, as long as it holds above 180, it has potential. And if it keeps breaking out, we're going to be watching 181.21. If it breaks that, 182.5 plus could come. 182.5 to 182.7 has some resistance. Break that, and we could be testing our high again. But once again, it's gaining some strength. If you look at the PPO, it's getting stronger. And Apple looks like it may make its way up towards 182 very, very soon. If Apple pumps more tomorrow, this could help SPY, QQQ, the NASDAQ, the entire market. Apple is a giant nonetheless, and it's very important to note that. Now, Apple holding up is a good sign for the markets. If Apple breaks down, let me go over the bearish case. I mean, you have to watch support at 179, 178 flat, then 177.59, and after that comes 176.87, then 175. So watch those as support and resistance. I'm open to either direction, but like I said, technicals are looking pretty good for Apple, and that could help the markets. The dollar is down; it actually broke below 104. So now that the dollar is cooling off, that's helping the markets to some degree. And I'm just going to talk about a couple of tickers, guys. I've been up since 5 in the morning. And it's currently like almost 4. I'm sorry, it's currently like 3:30 almost. So been working for a while, taking almost no breaks, but I love what I do, so completely fine with me. But I am kind of tired nonetheless, but that's completely fine. It doesn't really bother me. Anyways, when it comes to Amazon, if Amazon keeps going, we're going to be watching the high rate here at 125.7. Break that. We're going to be seeing 127.45 potentially to get retested. This is looking like a cup and handle. If Amazon breaks down, you're going to be watching the 50 EMA. If it breaks below that, we're going to be watching support at about 122.9 to 123. If that fails, it's going to come down to 121.32. It is forming cup and handle, so there's a good chance Amazon's going to try to continue to pump, but still be very patient nonetheless. Google came down almost exactly where I said it would. I told you it likely is going to come down to 122. If that fails, just 120.75. Google has been forming a bullish divergence, so there's a good chance Google's going to make an attempt to bounce. And we might see Google try to pump to about 123.9 from here, which is where the 1 hour 200 EMA is. And it could be higher depending on where it opens tomorrow. But there's a good chance Google may bounce alongside Amazon. Looking at, let's just talk about a couple of others. Meta's looking pretty decent. Came down pretty hard, but it's now forming a bullish divergence. Got to break off that. Came down after rejecting off the 50. If you're bearish on Meta, you got to watch it break below the 200, below 262. Did I say bullish? If you're bearish on Meta, if you're bearish on Meta, 262, a break below that is going to be bearish. If you're bullish, you're going to be watching a break above 266. If it breaks and holds that, above the 50 EMA, it has a good chance of making its way all the way up to 269, then 270 plus. Finally, for the QQQ, I think I just skipped over this. If you're bullish, you're going to be looking at a retest of 354 with Tesla pumping. That could help this thing. If it breaks 354, you're going to be watching 355.5. Break that. 356 is going to be somewhat significant too because it has gotten rejected there. If it holds 356, it's going to come up to 357.5. That's going to be very, very nice for it. If you're bearish, you're going to be watching support at 352, which is where the 50 EMA is. And if that fails, it's going to come all the way down to about just under 351. And then we have 349 to 350 as support, followed by the 200 EMA. Right now, there's a potential bullish triangle developing. You could draw this out as a bullish triangle. So the odds favor it trying to continue to push, especially with Tesla pumping. But I'm always going to be open-minded. I'm always going to be open-minded to either possibility, and you have to watch for confirmation at these levels first. What did I forget to mention? There's Coinbase. I can just briefly talk about it. For Coinbase, there's also a potential bullish triangle. It is starting to uptrend. It held above 54, which is good. Now we're going to watch resistance at 55. Break and hold 55, and it has the potential to see 56 getting retested, which is an important zone. If it breaks that, there's an imbalance all the way up here at about 58. So the odds favor trying to make its way up to 58. But if you're bearish, you're going to be watching support at 54. If that fails, you're going to be watching this 53 zone has some support, but the more significant support is this imbalance here at 52. And if that fails us, then 50 is going to come. I'm leaning in the direction that it's going to try to get attracted up here thanks to the market, but I'm always open-minded just in case. I think I went over almost everything except the QQQ. Then the NEO is just going to be last. Oh, no, I think I went over the QQQ. Sorry, guys. Neo is last. Sorry about that. Neo is going to be last. I will talk more about Tesla though. For Neo, it's very, very tight, not doing much. If we're bullish after earnings, we're going to see it get closer to 8.61 to potentially $9. If you're bearish, it's going to retest $7, if not break down lower. Now, it doesn't have to have the best earnings to be bullish, by the way, because it depends on guidance and what announcements are made by the company and the CEO. The CEO loves to pump investors, hype them up. William Liebman, he loves to do it. There's an inverse head and shoulders, a bullish divergence, and a potential cup and handle all forming at the same time. Also, don't forget the mainstream media. The news is being very, very mean to Neo. They're saying Neo is going to crash. Neo is looking bad. That's suspicious. If they keep up all this negative news about Neo, once again, it makes me suspicious, but I'm always going to be open-minded just in case. So it could break down, it could break up. I'm leaning more bullish, though, because of the negative news that just keeps on coming out about it, because of the bullish divergence, the bullish technicals, the inverse head and shoulders, and also because of what the CEO has historically done, hyping up investors with big outlooks for the company in terms of its deliveries and its performance going forward. I think it's going to hype up investors. I have a feeling it's going to happen again. I think NEO is going to reach at least 8.2, then potentially 8.61 for this imbalance, and maybe even $9 tomorrow. But, you know, guys, that's just what I think is going to happen. I could be completely wrong because earnings are very hard to predict. And I'm always open-minded just in case. All right. So that's what I have for this video. Basically, as far as Tesla goes, this is the last one. This is the last one I actually forgot. For Tesla, it's holding up nicely. I updated my charts to include all these different levels for you guys. It looks strong, very, very strong, very, very strong. Wow. Okay, so Tesla's at about 244 right now. We have some resistance at 245.95 and also around 245 flat. So this zone right here has some resistance. Break 245.95. Tesla's going to be on its way up to 247.5. Break that. There's going to be the 250 range between 250 about 250 and about 250.76. If it breaks 250, 254.26, then we have 257.65, then 260. All right, those are the major resistance up above. The support to hold it up is going to be 242.5, 240, 236.17, followed by 234.5 around that zone. And then after that, we have 233 and 230 as supports. So watch all of those very carefully. I know I named a bunch of them. On the 1 hour time frame, I mean, just look at that candle, looks very nice. On the 1 hour time frame, it's looking very bullish. I think there's a good chance it might cool off the RSI by the morning, so it may open up a little bit lower. But because of all the hype with Elon Musk closing the deal, a lot of investors are going to FOMO tomorrow. There's an increased probability of this thing just continuing to pump. We may see this thing break above 250 very soon. That's what I have for this video. The odds are favoring upside for Tesla. For the markets, I'm always open-minded though. I went over both the bullish and bearish cases, so watch for confirmation, okay? I'm not saying the market will squeeze. I'm not saying the market will do anything. I'm simply stating that you have to watch for confirmation. But I am stating that there's an increased probability of some kind of squeeze. It's more likely to happen given all the bullish things coming out. And I just want to let you guys know, looking at all the news about the bull market, looking at Tesla's pumping and Aapl, and not to mention Nvda and all these others, the odds are favoring the market trying to continue to fight to the upside. Okay? So that's what I have for this video. Always watch for confirmation. And I'll see you guys very, very soon tomorrow for the next video. All right, guys. So thank you all so much. Remain calm, cool, and collected. Do what you have to do. Don't forget about the Moomoo link. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you. I appreciate all of you. And peace out.